Hey everyone. Today I'd really like to discuss a topic that I think is important. So, we all have an idea in our head of what therapy is. And some people, when they are interested in therapy or start therapy, don't do the research on what kinds of therapeutic modalities actually would align with them. Like when you go to a grocery store, it's useful when you get a product a lot to know what it is that's in the product, what kind of taste it has, anything like that. And with therapy, it's important to treat it objectively, like you would any other service that you're buying. There's a significant difference in what people think health is. They might not say it up front because it's so basic in a sense, but every therapist has some kind of idea in their head of what health is. Basically, a platonic form of health, or what it means to heal, what it means to grow, whatever word you want to use. Even the terminology itself changes based on what type of therapy you're interested in. And some of those types of therapy are rooted in older traditions, even types of philosophy like Stoicism or like Buddhism, and other religious traditions as well. None of these ideas originate in a vacuum. They're all building on something before it. It's not like counseling just emerged less than 100 years ago entirely from nothing. It was rooted in ancient traditions. Being knowledgeable in those can be helpful when choosing what therapist and what kind of therapy you're interested in. And in order to know what therapist is going to be most helpful for you, it's good to do some reflection on yourself. What are the kinds of struggles you're facing that you need the most help with? Because there are extreme specialties. If you have an eating disorder, or you have a substance abuse problem, or you have a personality disorder, or something else, you have to sort of have a good idea if you want to have the best experience possible when choosing a therapist, because things like habit reversal training won't be helpful for certain things, but it could be very helpful for someone else, or CBT, or any type of therapy. It's just a matter of perspective in this way, because no therapist can be an expert in every type of therapy. So you have to at least have a general knowledge, as if you're going to buy a car or you were going to a new doctor, knowing yourself. There's no shortcut for doing your research. And if you blame the therapist for like just having a different theoretical orientation, or not being aggressive enough in terms of the way they question you. Like, some people expect to have an authority figure telling them what to do all the time, and they're really looking for someone who's more, um, maybe not even aggressive, like who's going to really push you hard, ask things that are really even uncomfortable. Some people want that, whereas if someone did that, and they weren't looking for that kind of therapy, like if you went to see a Gestalt therapist and you wanted something that's a little gentler, um, you might be averted to all therapy. But that's why you have to do your research and what tendencies the therapist has, and how they describe themselves on Psychology Today. Another important thing related to this is you might end up with a therapist, and you generally like them, and you think the theoretical orientation is right, but you just feel like something's off. And because they seem like an authority figure, it might be a little bit uncomfortable to confront your therapist. Therapists ideally make it able, they give you the ability, and make it a safe place where you can challenge them in a kind way, and tell them what you're actually experiencing, from their therapy, so they can grow as a counselor. It's required that a counselor is open to feedback and is there to serve you as a client. Doesn't mean you should be a total I was going to swear, but a total jerk to them and like say hurtful things, just like you wouldn't want someone to say that to you probably if they aren't doing therapy the way that you've expected, or you're not getting something you need out of the therapy. Like maybe something that they think is working actually is not making as much progress as you'd like. Being able to confront them in a way that's respectful can make a huge difference. So treating them on some level as your equal, even if there is a power differential, um, can really go a long way in getting better treatment. And if the therapist does not have the kind of expertise that's required to help you in the way you need, they are required to be able to refer you to someone else. The humility of being a counselor means that you know who to ask, like whether it's their supervisor or just them doing a little research based on what they know for what actually could help you. And if they're not able to do that, I mean, that's a red flag. But, anyways, I won't get into that. Because if you don't confront your therapist, maybe your intuition's picking up on something subtle. Maybe there's some kind of countertransference going on, where basically transference is where you like have something from like another person in your life and you're putting it on to them. Like it's connected to projection but a little different. But countertransference, the counselor, uh, basically what they're doing, going through an experience in their mind, whether it's a memory or like some aversion they have or some preference, and they're putting it onto the client. um, like they might identify a little too much with what you share. um, and when a therapist is counter transferring, you might be able to pick up on it because the way they respond to your experiences may be a little too personal on their end. Like you could tell, oh, they start sharing about themselves a little too much or doing something along those lines. And being able to gently say, hey, I feel like you might be identifying a little too much with my experiences. Being able to get meta with your therapist in a reasonable way. Because if there really is some kind of over identification with your experiences going on, they should know if you feel comfortable sharing what you're actually experiencing. And if they're a little too wrapped up and not objective enough to help you, then you can find a new therapist or they can adjust their behavior and do some reflection so they're not doing countertransference onto you. Ways to improve your experience getting into therapy as a client. If you have any comments, please leave them and subscribe if this was helpful. Thank you.